The 10th stop is Colorado, the Centennial State, where hot springs, sand dunes, and mountain tops are all a short trip away.
So hit the slopes with us as we explore Colorado and their tales less traveled.
Welcome all you cool cats and kittens.
Cuidado, piso mojado. Welcome.
Hakuna Matata.
That, of course, is a traditional Tibetan greeting, meaning peace. Welcome, peace be with you.
We're in Colorado.
I guess we're pretty peaceful.
In Colorado, I mean the nature.
Have you heard of that? Have you heard that phrase before, Alex?
I can't say that I have. Not with my Tibetan monks. No.
You know, I haven't spoken to the Dalai Lama in a while, ever since COVID hit.
Did he unblock you on Instagram yet?
Dalai Lama?
That bitch.
He blocked you?
I didn't realize Dalai Lama I didn't realize he was following me because, you know, I have so many followers on Instagram.
Damn.
Yeah, you're popular.
Does that literally translate to caution wet floor?
Yeah.
Cuidado.
Cuidado, piso mojado.
You know what? He said it in such a white accent
That
that
you
I
didn't
didn't
really
realize.
understand?
Yeah, I didn't realize that's what he
Yeah,
was
I was
saying.
trying to
I'm not
change
trying
it
to be
up.
mean, but piso mojado.
Cuidado, piso
You're
mojado.
just kind of a white guy.
Cuidado,
Like
piso mojado.
I saw a wet floor sign the other day, and I was like,
And I thought of
Cuidado,
you.
piso mojado.
What floor?
I saw that wet floor and I thought, I should
Call her.
Oh, strong start.
Yes. Okay.
So,
So, Colorado, guys.
we're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Woo.
How do we feel about Colorado?
Well, I think it's customary for Boo to say whether she's been here or not.
Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about this. I was like, now this state I can say I've been here before.
I
yes.
have never been to Colorado.
Well, welcome.
I've been
Colorado.
here.
Thank you.
Alex and I have. I mean, I think we've all.
No, Josh just said he
Josh
hasn't.
hasn't been here.
Just said I haven't been.
I know this studio is pretty big, but damn.
We've upgraded to a studio. No,
Still thinking about my pronunciation of caution wet floor.
no, we're in Colorado, and this is actually the first time in how many years? 10, 11 years since Alex and I have been here.
It's been a while.
And do you want to tell the audience why Colorado is so important to us?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you.
The mic is to you. Passing the pies.
Hold on, I'm having a little problems.
Oh my god.
Technical gift.
Yeah, in the studio, we had to do
There
a
you
studio this time around because there's actually a lot of black bears running around and
We
just read that this morning. Ate her face. Ate her body.
We just, you know, for safety reasons, and our legal attorneys told us,
oh yes,
listen,
we've gotten that.
we
famous.
cannot afford you guys to camp. So they booked us a studio in a nice hotel.
The glass is so see-through that almost ran into it, thinking that we were actually outside.
And now there's a big smudge from our forehead.
Like that Windex commercial where the birds would fly into it and laugh about it.
oh,
Remember
the
that?
old Windex commercial. Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
While she's cleaning or
yeah.
something? Yeah.
And didn't they talk to each other?
Yeah, the two crows would talk to each other and then the third one would run
Yeah.
into a window. Like, ah,
Yeah.
That sounds like something that you would probably mention with
Gosh.
high anyways.
That feels like that.
Have you never had that happen in real life where a bird flies into your window?
Oh,
and
no,
just
no,
goes,
no.
Bam!
Once in our house. There's
It's
been
multiple times in our. Yeah, in our.
So imagine
Big
little
windows.
Brooke laughing at the TV, slapping her knees together.
like
Those birds.
But anyways,
Slapstick comedy. That's,
yeah.
Colorado is.
I was just like, you're on your back and you're just like kicking your feet.
Oh, like,
emotional
really.
We're
going
just
in.
having.
Yeah,
We're trying to
just
have a
like-
moment.
just like, look, shh, I'm talking to Brooke.
No, you know what?
go
And I'm
ahead.
talking to the audience. Most
I'm done.
important.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
That's
I
it.
think you got it. I think you got it out.
Oh, okay. You good?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So about 10, 11 years ago, imagine myself
Coming
in
16 years old?
No, it's about
15?
15.
Coming out of the
15.
Amish
Still-
community.
Yes.
Yes.
15, still in the closet.
Still in the closet, 15. Families doing a winter vacation in December, as anyone outside of Colorado would probably do, just to go up there and visit.
I beg to differ. I did not do that.
Okay.
I never traveled.
Okay.
Okay.
So our
so-
family.
So our family, coming from Texas, never seeing snow that often, was like, let's go to Colorado and see snow. And
the whole family packed it up.
we should, yeah.
I
The
mean,
whole
the
family.
entire family.
On those horses and carriages.
We came. We rode horseback to Colorado.
I'm glad.
Dust. It's a very dusty cabin. Hold on.
I thought
Cut
we're
this out. Cut this out.
So start from where you guys said you packed it all up. Ready? One,
Wait.
two.
Continue.
We packed it all up, rode horseback to Colorado,
It was a long journey.
but it was
boys.
beautiful.
A couple of you died.
You know, remember
Did you eat each other?
on the way to Colorado, we had a bit of a slip.
Yeah, we
The horse started veering one way,
sliding on the ice.
and the horse landed in some dip.
Oh my God, that
We had it-
150 horsepower Ford 150 truck couldn't handle those Colorado roads.
No, we had
No.
a call. Did we call? I actually don't remember. Did we call someone for help?
Yeah, we called like the roadside assistance or whatnot.
Yeah, that was
And they
fun.
actually like, I don't think they towed us, but I think they followed us all the way to
Yeah,
the cabin.
Honestly, I have to say, because we've gotten help from, like, multiple times from the police officers, because the place that we stayed in was on top of a hill, so we would have,
It was pretty steep.
pretty steep, so people, like, law enforcement would help us go up, and even at nighttime, didn't you go to, like, a shopping center with the family? And you guys came back, like, super dark.
Yeah, we had some.
There's something.
Needless
but-
to say, our vehicles were not prepared for this.
And we had people in Colorado were very nice to help.
Wow. Shout out to Officer Jim Bob of Troop 101. Love you guys. Kiss,
Whether
kiss.
your family is driving on the icy roads of Colorado or just the normal streets of Fort Worth, you're having problems and need help.
Let us not get there.
Yeah,
Actually,
let's not do that.
my you can cut this out. My orientation for TCU is this June. I really hope it doesn't rain that day, or else.
That
And we're not
is-
taking a small car.
Flooding. Oh.
Yeah,
River flood warnings.
not this time around.
Taking the truck.
But anyways,
When you're here, you're family.
Exactly.
there you go.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Especially if you go to an Olive Garden in Colorado.
Then you're really family.
You're like close family.
Yeah.
You're like
Like they'll kiss each other.
You know,
family.
Olive Garden's like when you hear your family.
kissing cousin.
Is that what it is?
That's their logo. or
Oh,
their
I
motto.
didn't realize that.
Did y'all see that Josh Duggar got
Who is
locked
that?
up? You know the Duggar family? It's like 19 kids and counting.
Aren't they
He's
like
the-
Amish or something?
No, he's the. I don't know what they are, but he's the eldest. And they found out he was touching some of the kids.
No.
When he was, some of his siblings when he was, like a teenager. So they sent him away to get, little behavioral trained, right? Didn't press charges and do anything. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's it's all figured out." And now he just got locked up on child pornography charges, and he has kids of his own. And his
There-
picture, he's smiling.
There's some, aren't they like some like not Amish, but they're like
I don't know what they are. I
There's
don't know if they're
something.
Mormon. I don't know if they're
yeah something like that.
polygamist or not polygamy, but
Those damn Mormons.
those Catholics.
Okay, well
that
now
just
I
keep
know
on-
because I've been seeing it on the news. I was like, I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, the Duggar family.
But anyways, back to Colorado.
Yeah, to bring that back in. So Boo and I naturally,
I
she
was
was
9 years old.
yeah. She
You
was
can
younger.
imagine. You can imagine Pee Wee Little Me.
We're in different points in our life.
Very
clearly.
different.
So we weren't as close.
One's gay, the other's straight.
The other one is
How will they ever
emo,
get along?
and you can guess which one's emo.
Even though probably internally I was suppressing my own emo feelings.
We were listening to Tokyo Hotel's new album, Humanoid.
It was good. It was good.
I bet you had the whole skater look going on.
I
really
did. I sure did. Yeah.
Were you watching anime quietly and trying to pronounce so you could be like baka?
You know what? I liked anime, but I didn't really
you
watch
weren't-
it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't. There was just a couple shows I liked. But Boo and I, and we always give homage to Colorado for this at Crested Butte, I
We
think.
stayed at Crested Butte, and we stayed in a room with bunk beds, and it was just you and I.
Yeah, I don't know what we were talking about.
It was late at night.
All I know is
On the so quick to falling asleep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Did y'all kiss?
No.
Do you guys
This is not
reach
that
down-
story.
Do you guys reach down and hold hands over the
No,
No.
we had both. We each had a bunk bed to ourselves, and I don't know why
You each
no one
had your
else.
own bunk bed?
Yeah.
Did you both sleep on the top bunk?
No, like one bunk
She
bed was
sleeps
on
on
the
the
other
top.
side of the room, and there was another one on the other side.
Surprise.
We both slept on the top bunk beds, but no one else stayed with us. It was just us two
It
in
was
that room.
meant to be.
Yeah.
But
I think so.
yeah, we started talking about whatever, and then we started laughing, and then
we started crying.
Aww.
and that was our first bonding moment.
Really?
Yeah, I think we were. That's the first
Colorado.
time we were ever emotionally
It was
vulnerable
fun,
with each other.
and then yeah, ever since then, because I remember that very next day, we were actually like getting along. We're like, oh hey, let's hang out.
yeah,
That's
But
wonderful.
Ever since then,
Thank you,
we've
Colorado.
been inseparable.
Colorado witnessed our first bonding moment.
Yeah, it brought us
And
together.
then a year later, I came into the picture.
Yes, you met Josh.
The pregnant pause. Yes.
What a pregnant.
Yes.
Who describes it like pregnant pause?
Alex.
No, but I've seen like time period shows, and it's like
Pregnant
I took
pause.
a pregnant pause.
I mean, I'd understand if like
Reading classic
if
novels.
I decided to give you the cold shoulder for 9 months and not talk to you, that would be a pregnant pause.
Yeah, for 9 months.
Yeah.
I guess because
Wait
that
till the
pause.
Is it 9
Sun's turn.
seconds? Is it like a theater
Maybe
thing?
that's what it's supposed to be.
Maybe, or maybe it feels that pause, even
It's
if it's
just
so short,
elongated.
it feels long. So it's like,
Wow. I didn't know we were going to get metaphysical today.
No,
know.
but I'm really glad to be back with you guys,
I
especially
know.
you, Boo. And
I think there's something metaphorical about all of us being here together and having
so many years.
having another bonding moment.
That's
Honestly
wonderful.
stunning.
We've had so many bonding
Beautiful.
moments, and now we're traveling out of state.
Guys, I really think we should, at the end of this, though, I think we should, Boo and I have talked about this, you guys are more than welcome to hop on. We need to get our own little, like, mansion cabin
Yeah.
out here in Colorado.
Yeah.
One of those
get that thing
condos
It-
where you have it for a week.
If we can find that house in Crested Butte, it was immaculate. Heated floors.
Oh, that sounds
big,
wonderful.
tall, like floor,
Sauna inside, hot tub outside,
floor to ceiling windows. I mean, I would.
wraparound balcony.
I would. What's that TikTok where it's like they show the card?
Oh, yeah,
There it
they're
is.
like, yeah,
TikTok.
let me buy it.
Check that off your bingo card.
At this point, the middle spot of the bingo card shouldn't even say free spot. It should say TikTok spot because
Are we
Brooke and I
gonna,
are
are we
going to
gonna
talk
bring
about
up
it.
that cannibal?
What?
Hannibal the cannibal?
What's his name?
What cannibal?
The guy who
Oh, Army Hammer.
Hammer.
Oh,
no.
that's been a
There it
while.
is.
Old news,
Write that
old
one off.
news.
Yeah, that's all.
What was some of the other stuff that Brooke and Boo would say? That
Like Ratatouille.
yeah, there it
They
is.
sing the song.
Me fan, su su su. That
Yeah.
one song.
No man, greatest hits.
That's, yeah, fantastic.
We've had a lot of TikTok.
Yeah.
I think
Well.
when you go back,
Or what's the upset girl waking up in the morning?
Oh, that was recent.
waking up in the morning.
Oh, she actually, I saw a new TikTok of her when she was younger singing another song where she's
I
like,
told you to remember it so you could
oh
recite
yeah,
it today.
she was singing, you should have reminded me, she was singing, I don't know, to her younger sister or younger cousin, but she's like, happy birthday, first you were 1, then you were 2, then you were 3.
She's like the Ice JJ Fish of pop.
No, she's like, now you are 4. And I was like, oh my gosh, this girl, the creativeness.
I want her to sing at your 21st birthday.
Well, she's like, if not my age, maybe a little bit older or younger.
Oh my god.
Because she has a TikTok and she reacted to people making that song into a meme, and she's like either a teenager or early 20s. Like she's older now. But yeah, I would love for her, I don't even know her name, but she's part of the housewives of, I don't know,
You know, one of those.
one of those.
Yeah. Well, guys, welcome to our 10th episode.
Yeah, Colorado, the state most famous for
Boo and Alex's relationship.
movies such as The Shining, which takes place in Colorado,
I
and
didn't know that.
the
That's cool.
less popular sequel to the Alien vs. Predator series, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, took place in Colorado as well.
Boy,
You know what?
Yeah,
Is it Denver? Because
I don't know
everything's happening
wherever
in Denver.
wherever they were.
You know what
Everyone
else is
dies.
happening in Colorado? Our mockumentary.
Oh, yeah.
The Goons, The Office.
Oh boy.
Well, we still need to go Goons International.
Well, that's, when we can go international because, COVID and all, but,
Well,
Yeah.
I think if you guys want to just jump straight into stories,
Let's start.
I'm gonna leave it off with you two.
Okay.
You two have stories.
Who's going first?
Are you talking about
Do rock paper
Brooke and I?
scissors. Yeah.
Did you see that one TikTok of the girl doing rock, paper, scissors with the Smirnoff bottle of the vodka?
No.
And she tapes scissors to it, and she's like, rock, paper,
Oh
scissors.
yeah, she's like, oh, I guess I lose.
Yeah.
Then she she drinks the Smirnoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like Josh and I with tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lose every
That's
time.
great. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
I will pick up, I'll pick it up first. This is fine.
Because
I'll do it.
I realize this is my first little mini story.
Wonderful. So, my story is about the Spider-Man of Denver.
Oh.
So this is a true crime?
It's true,
But there's something.
potentially crime.
Okay.
Oh,
It is
shit.
a tale less traveled.
You know how it's,
Thank you, Josh.
in
Thank
New
you.
York, it's
like that plug-in.
it's
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Yeah. Well.
Here it's Mr. Peters. Whoa.
Is it really
Really?
Mr. Peter?
Mr. Peters.
Oh my
Peter
God.
Parker.
Mr. Peter Schmidt.
Peters. Okay, so in 1901, Philip Peters and his wife Helen lived in a modest brick house located in Denver, Colorado. They would live there for the next 40 years. That in and of itself is amazing.
That's a long time.
So during that time, he worked at the Denver and Rio Grande Railway,
Nice.
and he eventually quit in 1930 because he was never offered any sort of promotion.
Poor guy.
Wah, wah. I guess
He just gotta get up and go.
they weren't handing him out right along there. But in September of 1941, his wife Helen had a fall and broke her hip. Another wah, wah.
I want me to add some
Yes,
sound effects to this
please.
story.
Actually, I'd appreciate that.
So she stayed in the hospital to recover, and she left Mr. Peters alone. He, at the time, was 71. But it was really cute because, he'd visit the hospital every day to see his wife. And his neighbors, he was like, oh, they're elderly, keep an eye on them type thing, right? So they'd always invite him out and keep an eye on him, host him for breakfast and dinners and all of that. And on October 17th, he was due for dinner at his neighbor's house with Mr. and Mrs. Ross. But this kind of timeline didn't match up. Usually, Philip Peters was very punctual. He was always on time, always there, ready to go.
Yeah.
So they kind of were like, man, this is really abnormal. And you know what? He also walks with a walking stick, so we're gonna go check it out. Maybe he had a fall or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So Mrs. Ross, being the badass that she is, goes over and checks it out. She's like, damn. The blinds are closed. Damn. The front door is closed.
God damn.
And she's like, oh, he got a fence. I'ma hop that right there. And she hops it.
Oh, wow.
And then this woman breaks into the back door. And she's like, bam. She's like, Mr. Peters, where are you? Okay. So she goes in.
Sounds like a good script.
Well, I'm gonna take a guess.
Yeah.
He injected her with venom, tied her up, and then drank all of her fluids.
Oh, I was going to say, how'd you know
That's
she became
gross.
the Spider-Man of...
He's a spider.
Well,
Well-
I was thinking
You were,
humanly.
you were thinking juices?
You were getting sexual, weren't you?
You all are very
You know how
close.
it is. You gotta put it in dry.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
That is very wrong.
No. No, you gotta.
I know.
What do you know about that?
What do you know?
It's just boy talk.
What do I
This is
know?
boy talk.
So...
Locker
Oh,
room
boy.
talk.
You guys are almost, every one of you, it's really funny, every one of you are almost right.
Oh, what?
Yeah, really, it's crazy. He's dead.
Oh, so
He
it
was
was
dead.
dry.
He was dead. He was dead on the floor.
He
He was
was
dead.
So he
He's
died.
He is dead.
Okay.
He was dead,
Wait,
guys.
did he have a
DED?
collection of exotic
Did-
spiders that escaped and killed him?
We'll find out.
Was it that spider
In
you
the
guys saw
tales
at the
less
house?
traveled.
Okay,
It was
I want
a
to hear the
big-ass
end
spider,
of this.
though. It was a giant wolf spider. Okay, so he's
It
dead.
was cute.
There was blood everywhere, apparently. It was kind of like on the walls, throughout the doorways, in the front rooms of the house. And he was laying face down in the front of the bedroom. Rest in peace, Philip. And, she was like,
Yes,
"Deling,
actually.
deling, police, come over here." And the police came over.
Prince Philip, R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, shit, yeah. I mean, keep that queen living, yeah. Knock on wood. Okay, so So the police arrived and checked out the area, and they basically determined it was a locked door mystery. Do you guys know what that is?
A locked door mystery, cold case.
Do you know what that is? It's like every window is locked, both doors are locked, there's no sign of entry, there's no sign of exit, they have no idea what the hell happened.
Oh.
So that's a locked door mystery. They found out he was struck 37 times with a blunt object, and again, like I said, there was blood everywhere. It was across the kitchen, the living room, into the downstairs bedroom.
So someone could have had a key.
Maybe. So
That's true.
he had lacerations on his forearms, which suggests that he defended himself and fought back. And next to him was his walking stick, which was broken clean in half, also suggesting that he fought back.
Wow.
So, during the search of the house, the police were trying to basically put things together, but they were puzzled. Mrs. Ross had to break through the back door, like he stated, and all of the doors, windows, and everything were locked. So they were kind of looking around in every which room, and they even found a closet that had a false paneling on it, and, just jokingly knocked on it, just trying to see if it was hollow or anything. Mm-hmm. Eventually they gave up and ran into multiple dead ends, figuring out who may have committed murder on Mr. Peters. So, the following February, so this is 1942, Helen Peters returned back to her house and proceeded to fall and break her hip again. Oh, Helen! So she
She's
returned.
leaving those banana peels all over the house.
She returned
Mario
back.
Kart.
She returned back in April. At that time, she was 68, and she had two nurses helping her around the house. She had one nurse in the day and another nurse by night. So the day nurse, who was Edith Clark, began noticing what she thought were noises in the walls at times. She swore that these noises sounded like soft footsteps in empty rooms. She also noticed that newspapers were missing from the front porch, and trays of food left out for Mrs. Peters were moved or rearranged. And Mrs. Peters swore she had yet to touch them. The other nurse, so the nighttime nurse, Haiti Johnson, too, had her own share of paranormal activity in the night, and she claimed that the house would creak and thump at strange hours. So now you have both nurses saying that there's something kind of going on, but you know what? Kind of, they want to get paid. Mm-hmm. They want to,
they
just like
keep going. Yeah.
Just like Amy, her bills are paid. So,
bitch, I pay my bills.
My bills are paid. So, the sounds continued one day until Edith Clark swore that she encountered a figure in the stairway and called the police.
No.
So there's a quote, and she says, "Just a few moments ago, I heard some sort of tapping. I heard it before, but I thought it was only woodpeckers. But this time, I walked into the kitchen and saw a door to the stairway that leads upstairs slowly open. A foot came out, and then I saw a thin white hand on the door. I screamed, and the man ducked away into the stairway, and I heard him running up the steps." So naturally, the police showed up, carried out a full search of the property, and even had 2 police officers stay behind for 2 straight days, and they found, again, nothing. So at this point, both nurses were kind of freaked the fuck out, and were quoted saying, "I wasn't gonna stay in no haunted house," and both proceeded to quit.
It's like on the news, man who was stabbed, last words. What are you gonna do? Stab me?
Damn.
Was stabbed.
So,
left.
eventually, without having any nurses to help her out, Mrs. Peter left the house and went to go live with her son, Philip Jr.
Those junior.
However, even though she left and she cut off power to the house, strange activity continued. So neighbors were noting that the blinds were changing positions in the windows, and at times they'd be pulled lower than others. Sometimes they'd be opened higher in the frames and allowed sunlight to peer in. So the police actually stopped by due to these reports multiple times and kept checking out the house, and they were finding nothing. So they were kind of like, what the hell is going on here? They eventually, for 5 straight days, had 2 police officers stationed outside the house to keep a watch on the reported activity, but they didn't experience anything on their own. Again, with no new news, the policemen just went back to their normal duty and left it alone. So now the press is kind of picking this up, and they're like, this is kind of crazy. It's almost as if it's like a ghost slang, or this is like the ghost house of Denver.
Yeah.
So they had no idea, again, what the hell is going on. All they knew is that this was a locked house, and someone was murdered, and then they got the strange thing going on, so they just ultimately was like, you know what, maybe it's just ghosts, let's just let it be.
Right.
So in July of 1942, so we're a little bit later in the year, again, nothing has been found, got this strange activity going on. The police officers, again, decided to stop by just randomly. However, when they stopped by this time, they heard a faint noise coming from upstairs. The two police detectives dashed upstairs through the bedroom and into the small back storage room. This is where they had that fake paneling, and they tapped on the very first time they were there. What they saw was enough to startle them for a moment, as a pair of legs scrambled into a tiny entrance in the back of the closet. It was the false panel that they had touched before and disregarded. From the 8-foot by 15-foot panel, which is basically nothing. If you imagine, like, almost double Josh, and, like, the length of Josh if you were to lay down, like, that's how big that is. It's tiny. Like, you can't even live back there, right? Or you'd think.
I'm actually 8'1".
Well, okay. So these police officers grabbed the dangling feet, heaved out a pale and emaciated man. They said that he was beetle-browed, wide-eyed, pale as a ghost. He hated sunlight and was the color of a mushroom, or a spider that scurries for darkness when discovered hiding under a stone. His clothes were rotten, and he held together by a string and rope. He had a .44 caliber revolver with damage to the butt, which is one of the apparent injuries given to Mr. Peters. So after they took him in, they fed him some good stuff, some coffee, apple pie. He said his name was Theodore Edward Conies, and recounted the details of his life and how he had both come to know and kill Philip Peters. So apparently they knew each other through music. Philip was a member of the same mandolin club as Theodore, and the couple, noticing his struggles to cope after the death of his mother, befriended him, often inviting him to dinner and offering him some company. Eventually, this helped him out enough to kind of get him on his feet, and he joined the Denver Gas and Electric Company, where he began work as a pipe fitter. Eventually, he became so good at this position that he became a master and had like his own apprentice to help him out. Until one day they decided that's not good enough, and they wanted to become advertising men. And they left this all together and were going to start their own business.
Madmen.
It didn't go well. So Theodore and his apprentice failed multiple times at scamming and trying to bounce back onto his feet. He was now a little bit more than a homeless beggar and first called for help with his very first old friend, Mr. Philip Peters. So it had been almost 30 years since last time he saw both Philip and Helen, and he felt he could always ask them for a meal, and they'd kind of look after him after they had always been so hospitable before. However, when he finally gained the courage to do so, he noticed that Philip Peters was having a conversation with his neighbor and said that he was going to kind of be gone during most days because his wife was in the hospital. So this was the first time that Helen had broken her hip and he was going to visit her all the time.
Right.
So instead of waiting for him to return and gain approval, Theodore just kind of decided to
make himself at home.
Check the back door. And guys, what do we know what you should do?
Lock the back
Lock your back doors.
Girl, my mom tells me every single night.
Lock the door.
Lock everything.
Yeah, well, as many times as you've locked the back door, how many times has anyone opened it? Who's come into your house?
This happened to us recently.
Strangers.
No one.
Oh. Yeah, so what's the point?
You know, recently this happened to us.
Really?
We had the front door unlocked and we were having people work on like the foundation, and some dude like let himself into our house.
I heard.
While Alex was in the shower.
Yeah. Indeed.
What did he do?
He walked in the house and was like, Alexandra, and I came out there and I was like, did you knock? Did you ring the doorbell? Did you do anything? And he's like, probably shouldn't have done that. And I was like, no.
Well, I thought this
you
was
shouldn't.
People were working on the
and someone just
house,
randomly
and some
walked
guy
in.
just like walking down the street.
But you could, I mean, it was enough.
That would have. I mean, I know.
It was enough to freak me out.
I mean, I would be totally upset.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what happens, right? So Philip left his back door unlocked, and Theodore just kind of helped himself in. So he went into the kitchen, started having some food, and eventually was searching throughout his house and found that small 8-foot by 15-foot plyboard panel on the top of the closet.
How do you just find that?
Well, he was searching around the house because he was going to probably steal from him. He probably wasn't going to stay there for real. He was probably going to grab some money and go. But this small 8x10 plyboard panel, it was on top of the closet. So you know how like sometimes you have that like foamy type of like ceiling? Yeah. It's kind of like that. It was a panel that you could kind of like lift up, and he lived up there. So he had to climb up.
So was it almost like a parasite moment where he was
someone's living in your house?
Yeah, and you don't know it.
Yeah, essentially. So it was on top of the closet and it functioned as a trap door for a tiny coffin-shaped attic. It was 37 inches in height, 7 foot long, and 7 foot long and 4 feet wide.
Well,
you know what? Now I'm looking at this. I think I misread it this entire time. I don't think it was 8 foot by 15 foot. It was 8 inches by 15 inches.
Oh my god.
Super.
So this man was super emaciated, super tiny to fit through that.
That's okay.
So that's
Yeah,
like
that's
a
small.
foot by. It's not even a foot.
That's
by
not
foot.
even a foot, yeah.
So he somehow would contort himself to get through that. So that's
Ugh.
my bad. I misread. I had a dash and 2 dashes. My bad.
So he had...
Yeah, tiny, 8 inches by 15
That's
inches,
weird.
and he lived in a 7 foot by 4 foot wide area, and then it was only 37 inches in height, so 3 foot. So he'd have to always constantly be hung over. So that's where he lived, and he lived there for several weeks until one day he thought Philip was gone, visiting his wife in a hospital, and he was not, and they kind of confronted each other. But Theodore recounts that every night I would listen at the hole until I heard him snoring. I would crawl out, go through the icebox, and I would just take enough so I wouldn't be too noticeable. I would carry it back to my nest and eat it there. I found parts of old crystal set in one of the closets and a pair of earphones. I fixed it up so it would work, and I'd listen to all the newscasts, music, and everything. I used to beat it down to the bathroom and even shave with the old man's razor.
Wow.
So this bizarre experience actually got too boring for Theodore, who actually took it as a game to follow Philip Peters around the house during the day.
That's
he
just messed up.
He would shadow his movements, hiding behind doors as he passed, purely for entertainment. He said, "It was sort of a game. It gave me a thrill." It all came to an end again on October 17th, where things had a downturn, essentially. They confronted each other. He crept out when he thought Peters was away, and Peters was actually downstairs taking a nap. So when he heard him in the kitchen making a meal, it woke him up, and that's when they fought. He said, "I thought I was going to lose my shelter. Peters didn't recognize me, though. I guess I changed a lot in 30 years. I saw an old revolver hanging on the wall, grabbed it, hit him on the head. He fell, but got up and headed for the telephone. He said he was going to call the police, so I followed him and hit him again. I was trying to find a vase in which I thought he had hidden some money when I heard him opening a drawer in the downstairs bedroom. I picked up the stove shaker, which is basically a poker, and went in there and hit him. I didn't know how many times I hit him. I just kept hitting him until he didn't move anymore. After that, I got some food and went back in the attic. Everything would have been alright, and Philip Peters would have been alive today if he just hadn't caught me robbing the icebox. It was me or him." He also said he used to go downstairs, look at the windows, and watch the postman come by. "No one's written to me in 25 years. Whenever I saw people on the street, I hated them and would go back in my attic." So, unknowingly, he essentially was the Denver ghost in the house. And it's bizarre. So every time that the paroles would come calling to the house, he would his concealment, like, he'd go right back in, and they would never know. It's really, really crazy. Apparently, in a statement, he told police that he had been sitting on top of the small false trapdoor when they discovered it during the initial search of the day that he was murdered. But he like laid on it as much as he could with all of his body weight, so as they knocked, it wouldn't move.
Oh.
So that's how they didn't know that you could kind of just shove it up.
Yeah.
And yeah, he went on. He loved the press of it. So he described like even what it was like to live up there. So it was miserable, hot in the summer. My feet froze in the dead of winter in that attic, but it was all part of the price I was willing to pay. I can't tell you why I stuck it out. I guess it was mostly because it was a world all my own. I used to go down, look at the windows, watch postmen come by.
I don't know. I feel like I would have gotten tired, gathered some things, and then just snuck out.
Then I would have just
he was only there for 10 months. Mm-hmm. Only 10 months. It wasn't forever, but it was a tiny space to live in.
That's a lot.
The only time he had ever left the attic, outside the house at all, was when Mrs. Peters left and turned off the electricity, so he had to go outside to get some snow for ice and all that. So despite being 6 feet tall, when he was found, he was only 75 pounds.
Oh, you imagine a 6
foot tall, 75 pounds. That's how he's able to fit.
It's
So
almost a skeleton.
during his confession, the police inspected the space that Theodore had been living in, describing the smell as so bad that it made one officer vomit. He had cut into the wiring, installed a small light bulb. Otherwise, there was very little in the way of creature comforts. His bed had been an ironing board. Cans of human offal lined the walls. a man would have been a spider to stand in it long up there. And then, funny enough, he was convicted on Halloween of 1942. He was found guilty of murder. He avoided the death penalty, but he went to do physical labor at the Colorado State Penitentiary. After his verdict was read out to the courtroom, Theodore turned and commented on his situation. "Now I feel safe. I'll have a better home than I've had in years."
Oh my god,
I would have got up and moved.
And that is the story of the Spider-Man of Denver.
It's honestly
Oh my God.
another Parasite plot.
Yeah.
If you've seen Parasite, you know. If
You know.
haven't, it's a good movie. Go watch. But that's what I think of.
I think that's one of the last things that I would ever, in terms of fear, like, oh, someone's living in my house. Yeah, that'd be the
8
last
inches. 8 inches by 15 inches. I know when I said 8 foot by 15 foot, it's like, okay, all right, that's enough. But
No.
8 inches by 15 inches.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Have you guys seen that scary movie, The Boy?
No.
You keep talking about it.
Honestly, I mean, it's an okay movie. It's one of like a horror movie, but kind of the same basis. I won't spoil it.
Well,
but
I'll go watch. We'll have to
Alright.
watch it tonight in Colorado.
Yeah,
Ooh.
The
Okay.
Boy.
Very
I,
nice.
Alright.
I will say I love that story. But before we started, Brooke was like, "It's a short story."
I thought it.
And
Well,
Mine's a
it was-
very
it
short
was 20
story.
minutes.
No.
Was it really?
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. I'm just saying, like, I was like,
It was a
how
good
long are your
story,
stories? And Brooke's like, oh, short. It's 20 minutes.
Fair enough. I didn't answer. She answered and she answered. I didn't
That's
answer.
because I know.
Because I know I can take a long time reading.
No, mine.
good.
So, with that disclosure,
Are you ready to go?
this is not even going to be. This might as well shouldn't even be considered like a
Story.
yeah. In retrospect, I think this is like a hey, this is an interesting fact I found.
Is
Here
it
you go.
fact or
Well,
fiction?
well, you know what, Alex? Like, this is your first time. And,
Is it really?
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
not gonna.
wow.
It's my first time.
Maybe it won't last a whole long time, but you know, you got to get it over with.
It's like school. Get it over with.
Let's talk about your first story.
Okay. All right. Well.
You're
So-
gonna stick it in dry, but it'll come
Well,
out.
okay. So funny enough.
No.
The reason why I went with this story is because it kind of made me chuckle, and then at the same time, I was like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. So, I'm going to take you back. The year's 1884. It's Denver. The, what would be kind of like the Mile High City that people
8
know
years
as.
after Colorado became a state.
Yes.
Yes, actually. Yeah, we did learn this.
The
yeah.
Mile High Club.
Yeah. So naturally, back in 1884, Denver didn't look anything the way that it looks like now.
No!
Yeah.
Yes.
True story. True story. Yeah.
Shit.
Actually, in fact, Denver was known as a lawless city back
I
then.
believe it.
Yeah, it was a little corrupt.
Cowboys walking around.
I
Oh,
believe it.
just going up in the saloons,
You
shooting
know,
up people.
you know why that is? It's because the Spanish had it before we did. And they had lawlessness.
Yes.
No,
Because
here we go. No. This has nothing to do with that. But I'm glad that you threw that in there. Thank you.
Little history.
Where were your people at this point?
I'm
I
glad
forget.
you
Europe.
think
I was probably
Lawless.
still in Ireland.
Ireland.
Okay. Well, with that being said, so it's a lawless city, so everything pretty much goes, and I mean everything.
Yeah, you
Yes.
could look at a man and say, "Hey, cabron!"
What do you think? Do you think people were speaking?
Escúcheme.
Actually, no. They might have been speaking Spanish back then. That's true. Well, what is now known today as Market Street. So I went ahead and kind of googled that. It's pretty much like their main street. It's like right
Yeah.
off of it.
Yeah, where we got vaccines.
Yeah, exactly. Main Street
Yes.
does.
Not in
Yes.
Colorado.
But it's now known Market Street, but back then it was known as Holiday Street, which I thought was kind of...
Doc Holiday.
It could have been, yeah. I thought it was a little ironic, given what the story's about.
It wasn't.
Oh.
It wasn't a good time.
It wasn't a holiday.
No, it was not a holiday. Matter of fact, Holiday Street was
No, Carly
actually...
Rae Jepsen.
No. Holiday Street was actually a place that particularly men, of course, looked to for comfort.
Oh, I get it. The
In
Holiday
quotes.
Inn. Get it?
No, they're just trying to escape
No.
to go on holiday.
Hey.
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 So the places that they would tend to look for comfort naturally ranged. I mean, maybe it would have been right there on the street. Maybe.
Oh my
the
god!
corner.
Oh
On
my
the corner,
god!
yeah.
They just dropped trout right there.
They sure did.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Really?
god!
No, really.
They
No.
would just do it right there.
Yeah, they would. This is a lawless city, guys. Like, everything
They
went.
just grab it. Hey, come over here.
It's
Yeah.
like Vegas.
Yeah, basically. Or if you had a little extra money on you, maybe you would go to like a higher end place that actually had 4 walls to like shelter
Wow.
you.
Oh my god!
And they would call them high end bordellos.
Is that Spanish?
You know, I think so.
Hey, pardon.
I actually didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure it is.
You know what's
Is
terrifying?
this racist?
No.
Is Brooke racist?
No, because
is Brooke racist?
because there are a lot of places.
Write me a 3-page essay on
Is Brooke
Spanish.
racist?
is Brooke racist? Let me know. in
No,
the
because
comments.
Colorado historically has a lot of Spanish influence.
It
A
does,
lot of like
yes.
Cañón.
De Coronado.
Colorado.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh my god, that sounded sexy. That was good. That was good.
That's my sister. Calm down.
Please.
She might have my blood and I her hers. But anyways, there was a high-end bordello known as the House of Mirrors.
That's scary. One last thing.
Spanish.
One last thing.
What's in Spanish?
No,
Say it
no,
in
no.
Spanish.
House of
It
Mirrors.
sounds better.
Say it in
Casa de
What?
What?
House of
de
Mirrors.
Mirrors.
How do you say House of Mirrors in Spanish?
Casa de
Casa de
Mirrors.
Espejos.
Yeah, Casa de Espejos.
Ooh, I like this.
Casa de Espejos.
Ooh,
You were trying to say
Chef's
something
kiss.
in Spanish. Hija.
hija.
Yeah, she does this hija.
La hija de
You don't pronounce
ambassador.
the as hija.
I know, I bet I can't.
Hija.
Also, this is great. I just also want to throw in this tidbit. That's crazy because if they were just dropping trout on the street, they must have had some, no stage fright. They felt
No
confident.
performance anxiety.
Why did we lose
Yeah,
confidence as a society?
Why?
going
Why did we get rid of this? When did we stop this as a society?
Naturally, I think I'm a little glad because I don't know how I'd react if I just saw. Well, I did in Vegas.
Vegas. Going up and down.
She was just riding that man like a stallion.
She was, and you know what? I was actually,
You watched.
I was appreciative
People
that
tired.
you couldn't see anything as she was writing.
But you could
Yeah.
tell she was writing.
She was
I
writing.
mean, you can't mistake a jumping up and down with your panties up.
Maybe she.
There's a difference
maybe-
between grinding
maybe she
and
was
writing.
giving him like CPR. She was like, "No, please stay with me." He's like having a heart attack.
Staying alive.
Good be.
Well,
Staying
people
alive.
were cheering, so I mean,
Yeah, it was weird.
yeah.
But anyways,
Vegas. Vegas, baby.
It was you two, wasn't it?
No.
no, God no,
No, dear God, no.
no. But anyways, so we have the House of Mirrors. That's one of your more frequented.
Frequented.
Frequented. Don't know why I couldn't say that word. Frequented
Do they have
places
mirrors?
to seek natural pleasures in that area.
Natural.
And we had a man, one man known
one man
as
only.
one man known as John F. Fitzgerald.
No.
Were there mirrors on the walls and the ceiling? So it was like literally
Not JFF.
I don't think it's the same man because this guy was actually a barber from.
No, JFF.
Yeah, he was a barber from a nearby town called, I think it's Leadville, could be Leadville, don't know. Sorry for anyone who's actually from there listening. But yeah, Fitzgerald was someone who actually went and
looked for a holiday.
he went on Holiday Street looking for a good time.
he wanted to have his willy shaken.
Yeah, and he
Not stirred.
wasn't from the area. He was just kind of passing through.
Where's he from?
Oh no.
Leadville, one of the town.
Did he look like a tourist?
You know, I didn't really get
You
a
gotta
good
dress
picture
the
of
part,
him.
John.
Didn't really have a
She
good
didn't-
picture.
she
Let her
didn't-
finish.
Her scanner wasn't working.
Just wasn't working well. But anyways, Fitzgerald told his wife that he was just visiting a friend in Denver.
Oh, you asking for it?
cheater.
Yeah, no. Naturally, his friend would end up being on Holiday Street. And
Oh,
The friend, wink, wink.
is it the friend? or did he actually run into his friend?
no, he just told his wife that he was going to go see a friend in Denver. Because I actually haven't looked it up, but I think
Did he-
Leadville's like not
Did he
too
know
far
his
from
friend
Denver.
would be there?
No, I don't think he had a friend in Denver.
It was the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
his friend wasn't.
Yeah.
I see.
The prostitute. Was,
Yes.
The lady of the night, bro.
I'm sure she
Lady
had
of
a
the night.
The
name.
barkeep.
Yes.
The
Yes.
streetwalker had a name.
The night walker.
Exactly. So Fitzgerald tells his lovely wife, "Hey, I'm going on a work business trip in Denver.
Oh God,
Gonna
they
go,
did this in the 1800s too.
gonna go see my friend.
And they do it now.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
go see my friend Barry in Denver.
Barry.
Tom,
Yep.
you might as well just said Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah, I guess so. And so we'll go with Tom. And anyways, he ends up in Denver. Goes straight to Holiday Street,
As you do.
as you do. And the thing is, that was the last place he had been seen for months.
Oh shit.
Dead.
He disappeared. No one, his wife, who was expecting old Fitzgerald to come back, never came back.
JFF.
Got a little concerned.
Oh no.
Went ahead and reached out to, the Denver police, so to speak, more like, sheriff or whatever. Thing is,
The law.
there is no law in Denver.
There's no law.
So there's not much help that you could get from anyone around there. So months pass, and there are 3 boys who are just hanging around, and they stumble upon a body.
We found his body.
Where?
I'll get to that.
Oh my God.
They stumble upon this body, which, by the way, is very far along the decomposition process.
Delicious.
Yeah, like he's just been kind of cooking for
Was
a
he
while.
eaten by a bear?
I don't know. But the thing is, they found his body literally like in this one area like off Holiday Street.
It was a 15 by 8 hole.
Look.
No, but the crazy thing is, so his body is underneath the street. Like, there's only a part of him that's sticking out.
Oh, that's
and these
weird.
boys were like,
So this isn't like
Oh
concrete.
my God. Could you imagine?
no, it's
No.
straight up like, it's like,
Dirt. Oh, it's dirt.
Yeah, it's dirt back then,
1800s.
yeah.
But he got covered.
it got covered.
So they should have noticed when they were covered making a road.
But
there
there's
were no
no roads.
roads.
I mean, it's Denver.
Dirt.
It's 18...
Dark.
What did I say?
1884.
There you go. 1884.
They
There's
didn't
not much
start
going on.
paving roads until Lightning McQueen
But
came
okay,
into
okay.
town.
So maybe not a road, but like
am
a
speed.
highly frequented trail.
Well, the thing about this place that he was at is...
Kinda
it was funny enough, it was actually a little bit like off of the main
like
street.
you gotta get there to get there.
In a way, yeah.
Oh,
and these are...
we're going there for one thing only.
Well, the
You
thing
didn't
is,
just happen
everyone
to
was
go
going
through
for
town.
one thing everywhere. But this one area, I guess they were not. But these 3 boys that were playing around saw something sticking out of like the dirt on the street. And they went to go pretty much like grab at it, because I think one of the boys thought it was like, I don't know if it was like a coin or whatever, because it was like glinting. And as they're like pulling at it, they realize that
It's attached to a
It's
hand.
a hand.
it's attached. Yeah, to a hand.
Oh.
So apparently, it was reported that a crowd of around 1,000. So
Wow.
Denver at the time was kind of populated.
Poppin'.
Yeah. But a crowd watched as a crew of men dug the body out of the mud or dirt with shovels. And funny enough, Fitzgerald, since, he's a barber, right? So I guess barbers do what they do and they take their tools with them wherever they go.
Huh.
His tools were recovered along with him, each with his name engraved on them.
That must have been really expensive.
I
I'm
think
glad
so.
he was buried with them and they didn't get stolen.
Yeah. Well, it took a little bit, but authorities eventually pieced together what happened behind Fitzgerald's murder. Mm-hmm. So, apparently, there he goes. John arrives at Denver. He's excited. He goes straight to Holiday Street because that's what he's there for.
God, that Holiday Inn.
So, his first night, he strolls in to one of Holiday Street's seedy gambling establishments, as they called it.
Oh, shit!
And he's showing up everyone. He's like,
Good.
hey, I've got some money, and I've got some money to spend.
no.
He's not from around there.
Oh,
No.
Some people didn't show kindly to it, but he's showing everyone that he's got something on him. So, let me just say, like, if you're not doing so well, but here comes some guy from out of town that's saying that
Exactly.
he's got stuff.
That's how they felt when we went to Windstar.
Listen,
Damn.
they always say when you're at a bar, don't flash out your cash because someone will see it, and when you leave that bar, it's fair game for them.
too, honey.
You fly in Spirit Airlines, all right?
Oh, but you know what?
Not sponsored.
Not
Not sponsored. But anyways, so he's showing off everyone his money. And then later that night, he goes to get entertained by a woman.
A young lady.
By a woman named Belle Warden.
Well, Mr. Warden probably saw his money getting flashed at the poker table.
Well, the thing is, I think Belle did see that he had some money.
So she is her own woman.
She targeted.
Kind of. She was kind of her own woman because apparently she was the one who killed Fitzgerald. Femme fatale. But also, she did have a lover by the name of Barry Gates, who later showed up to help her kill.
Wait a second. Was this his friend? For real friend? Or he just so
I
happened
think
to
that
use
would have
the
been a
name?
great twist, but no, it was just someone.
Twist. He
great
actually had a
grandfather
friend.
who ended up killing him.
Why'd you look at me when you said Barry Gates?
Because I just thought it was funny that I
His
said
name-
Barry earlier and
you
you
know
said
what?
Tom and it all came together.
He's the heir to the Bill Gates family.
He probably is.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
Well, the crazy thing
More
is, though,
contact.
too, like, not only did she kill him, and then her, like, Barry came in later and was like, well, what we doing? Oh, we're killing him? Well,
And then they buried him.
they did.
Barry buried him.
But what's sad is, after John had some great time with Belle, he fell asleep in the bed.
Naturally.
And that's when they killed him.
You know, you,
In
can't,
his sleep.
you
So-
can't be falling asleep like that.
Small mercy.
People.
Apparently, according to reports, Fitzgerald's throat was cut expertly.
Oh.
And
A doctor.
maybe
Jack the Ripper? Oh my god.
not quite.
And that's the opposite side of the world, guys.
Yeah, though.
Now,
We're in Colorado.
to add a little
That
bit
was
though
in
to
London.
a
To
ghost story,
add
though.
it a spice.
Just a little spice in Denver. To kind of make this a little bit of a ghost story, though, apparently, ever since then, it is said that his ghost tends to haunt Union Station, which I guess is near Market Street, which was Holiday Street. And his ghost is being chased by that of a woman who they think is his wife, going after him with a rolling pin.
You get him,
What is
honey.
this, Pirates of the Caribbean?
But anyways, that's the story of John F. Fitzgerald and how
JFF.
a good night out could turn into a bad night out.
Have you ever heard the rumor that
Thank you.
Jack the
you.
Ripper skipped and she came over to the United States?
And
No.
Hitler's in Argentina.
No, not that one. Did you know her Jack the Ripper might be the
And Hitler has a child.
Hitler does have a
Jesus
child.
had a child.
Yeah.
Did she commit suicide? I know she changed her name. Did she commit suicide?
She probably did. Honestly, I would.
Do you know that?
I don't know. I don't know
She
Hitler.
does. She has a daughter, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So there you go,
Good
guys.
story.
Yeah, I just thought I thought in a
Throwing
way.
the ghost at the end.
Thank you. I thought it was a little comical that
I think
he
it's a
just wanted to go
cliche.
have a good time, and yeah, he didn't
Listen.
have a good time.
Here's a tip. You cannot fall asleep after your good night out, one night stand, or whatever. You just get up and you leave. You
Women,
gotta
go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Also,
please.
flush it out.
Please, use the restroom.
Men, get the fuck
Yes,
out.
we're not doing like sexual health podcast.
Also, just don't show off that you've got money. Just
You
don't.
can't.
Well, I mean, if you have bodyguards, you kind of can.
I don't
Not even
know.
then. I've seen.
kinda
Look
can.
what
As long as
happened
you're
to
paying the
Kim K.
bodyguards better than.
I've seen
Yeah.
Ocean's 11.
I don't even know that. Is it a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With, it's
George
with like
Clooney.
and Brad Pitt.
Oh,
and
is that
Where
is
they
it kind
like
of
do
like
heists.
is it like
Yeah.
the Fast and Furious where it has like Oceans 1, 2, 3? Because isn't there's an Oceans 8 with women, right?
Yeah.
With,
Yeah,
like,
but
Rihanna?
it started
George Clooney's
yeah,
sister.
but it started off Ocean's 11, then 12, and then I think maybe 13.
Why would you start at 11?
Because
well-
there's 11 of them.
Yeah,
And then the next one
Oh.
had 12 people.
Well, that's ridiculous.
And
it's
then
actually a really good
It's
movie.
because it's like
I didn't
the guy's name is Oceans, and there's 11 people in his group.
Is Frank in it?
Frank.
Ocean.
Well, anyways,
There
Yeah,
you
do you like
go,
that?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
potato.
so thanks for giving us our little space to
Yeah.
tell organized
problem.
stories.
Who's going next?
I will.
Josh.
Okay.
Also, I want to say that. Did you say that your story is going to be 3 minutes?
Well, it was 3 minutes, but okay.
Because it was like 20 as well.
Okay, but the story itself was very short.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I get it.
Sometimes it feels good to last longer.
You know
that
what,
note-
Alex? You lasted a long. It was your first time, but you lasted a long time.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I thought you might like that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Where you going?
Give me one too. Whatever.
You're walking like you're constipated.
Whatever you're doing, get me one. So should I start?
Yes.
Or should we take a break? Be right back.
Yes, I can use it.
All right, we're back from our little break. My turn to take the reins.
Guys, we're back. We're back.
I wish I had a nun ruler and I could just slap it down.
Sorry.
Alex, you leaving?
You can continue.
Okay. So yeah, it's my turn. I'm gonna tell you guys some.
Corey, you're making so much noise. Come on.
You're interrupting.
And we're back.
So I got two. I'm sorry. I got 4 stories. You wanna open that?
Yeah, open it right in front of the microphone so they can hear you open that Mexican Coca-Cola.
The taste of sugarcane Coca-Cola.
The taste of our people. Actually, I feel like that's going to be a nice sound.
It's a good sound bite. As long as no one's talking. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to hop right into it. Because, yeah, run out of time. So this first story, it might be a Johnny Cash song. Or it might just be a UFO story.
The Ring of Fire?
It's called Snippy the Horse.
Oh, I see.
I don't know, I just feel like Johnny Cash. This is a song about Snippy the Horse.
Snippy the horse I grew up with.
Alright.
You listen to a lot of Johnny Cash, Boo?
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah.
Here's one of the stories that never happened from one of their files that doesn't exist.
Oh, the G.O.B.?
You guys seen Men in Black 2?
Yeah.
No.
Remember in Men in Black 2 when they go to the video store and they watch the, like, what is it? They watch the, like, unknown tales, like...
The Tales Less Traveled? Oh,
and,
shit.
like, the guy who's supposed to be, like, Robert Stack or something comes out and he's like, here's one of their stories that never happened from one of their files that doesn't exist.
No, I don't remember that at all. But I'm glad you do. I'm glad that gives you joy.
I'm sorry,
As I was
Josh,
trying
that we
to.
don't know certain culture like you.
Hold on. Okay, so we're back. Just had to show them the Men in Black 2 scene, it's fine.
And talk about the WAP song.
Among
Nope.
WAP
other
song?
things.
So we're talking about Snippy the Horse.
Exactly, that's what made us want to WAP.
Johnny Cash.
Snippy the Horse. So, September 7th, 1967, outside of Alamosa in southern Colorado, there lived a 3-year-old Appaloosa horse named Snippy. Except that day, the horse did not return to the Harry King Ranch when went missing.
Snippy went missy.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for that plug-in.
Mr. King kept a lookout for the horse, and after 2 days of searching, he found the horse's remains a quarter mile from the ranch house. This was not just some animal attack, however. The horse had been completely stripped of its flesh around its head. No skin, muscle, or blood was left, but a white skull. The brain had been removed, and the rest of the body was completely untouched.
Brain removed? Ooh.
Even more bizarre is that there was no blood pool or trace of blood anywhere around the body. The body had not even had signs of decay or bloating or rot after being exposed to the elements.
Huh.
The only evidence was tracks from the horse 100 feet away from where the body was found, so it had clearly been moved. Also near the horse were scorch marks, almost like some kind of rocket had charred the grass. The skin and flesh was apparently moved with extreme and careful precision. Whatever had removed the flesh was extremely sharp, and no tearing was observed. 100 yards away, they found shrubs that had been smashed flat and a series of 6 small round indents in the ground 6 inches deep and 2 inches across, arranged in a circle. One person at the scene had found a gelatinous green globs in the flattened bushes, and among the globs was a piece of metal covered in horsehair and green gel. After handling this, the woman's hands began to itch and burn. Something was irritating her skin. On top of all of this, there was a strange smell in the air around the body that no one could identify and described it as sickly sweet. The scorch marks and green globs were found to be radioactive.
Oh my god. You think that's where the song came from Imagine Dragons?
Radioactive.
Yeah, they were talking about Snippy the Horse.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's great.
What could have been a Johnny Cash song?
It's a cover song.
While around the same time that this horse's body was found, the police found a man trespassing near the Great Sand Dunes a short drive away from the ranch. The man was Dr. John Altschuler, and he said he was there UFO watching and to please let him go because he didn't want his reputation as a pathologist to be ruined. After hearing that his expertise was in blood coagulation, they decided to take him to see the corpse of Snippy. After Dr. Altschuler examined the remains, he found that the lungs, heart, brain, thyroid, and abdominal organs had been surgically removed with some of the cleanest cuts he'd ever seen. He also found that all of the material was taken out of the spinal column. The cuts were black and had been cauterized, and he theorized that the cuts were made with some sort of laser like nothing he'd ever seen. The U.S. Air Force sent out Dr. Robert Adams to the scene, who quickly said that there were absolutely no unearthly causes.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that?
I'm just in shock. It's kind of sketchy for the guy to be like, let me go. I was UFO watching, and then this just so happened to happen. Did he see the UFO?
No, he didn't see any UFOs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Weird.
But this was like miles away from where the ranch was. For some time, reports of strange lights in the sky had been observed, so quickly people began to connect the strange mutilation to an alien abduction. Over the next decade, several ranchers would come forward with alien abductions of livestock. Nothing, however, had as much supporting evidence as the Snippy case, though. Other stories included one man who said that his car had been followed by a top-shaped object. A college student claimed that he saw an object in a field, and as he approached it in his car, his rear tires blew out. Wow. And 2 sheriff deputies claimed that they were followed by an orange globe in the sky one night, and when they went to report it, they were threatened that they would lose their jobs if they proceeded.
Ouch.
Skeptics such as Dr. Adams of the U.S. Air Force claimed that there was no reason to connect the carcass of the horse to the indentions left or the scorch marks on the earth. They claimed further that the scorch marks were actually dried blood, and witnesses were confused. They explained further that the horse could have gotten tangled in barbed wire around its neck, and someone cut its throat in an act of mercy, and then ants ate the head but left the rest of the body, and then moved to their nest before anyone found the body. One person said that the horse had been struck by lightning, even though that it had not rained in days. But honestly, the way some of these skeptics explain the event is even stranger than if actual aliens came down and abducted the horse.
Of course.
While no one could agree on the strange circumstances, the horse was slowly forgotten like most strange stories, and the skeleton of the horse changed owners over the decades. It was it was put on eBay in 2006 for the asking.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he was asking for $50,000. No one seemed interested in the post, and it was withdrawn, and the skeleton now sits in an undisclosed warehouse somewhere. Wow. Here's pictures of the body.
What is the alien fascination with livestock? I don't understand.
Maybe because animals, I could be wrong, they're more vulnerable.
Maybe they want to see how things work.
But I just, why, out of all the things that are cows have 4 stomachs. Do you know
I was actually reading that this Snippy the horse case was what actually started the whole popular thing about aliens abducting cows and stuff.
I was going to say, again, I don't know much about aliens as much as Brooke does, so I never...
Yes.
You practically have a PhD in UFOs.
Thank you.
But, so I never knew that, I guess they were... going for animals or something?
Well, I've always seen it depicted in media, so that's why where's the fascination? Why lights?
Cows are abducted in the middle of the night.
Why?
Because you would also think that animals would have a sixth sense of
So maybe.
Well, I'm thinking ghosts.
So what do you think? What do you think could have done this?
What do I think could have done that?
Yeah. How likely do you think that an alien actually abducted this horse?
Dr. Brookshire, what do you think?
Okay, if the head was completely severed and missing, completely different story.
Oh, it's attached to the body.
But it's attached,
still.
that's what I'm saying.
You can tell by the pictures. Go look this up, guys.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful
I find it very
picture.
odd
Cook that tonight.
I just find it very odd that guy was there and he was like, oh.
Well, I find it interesting that, they found this guy, sky watching in the dunes 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm UFO watching because people had seen lights in the sky.
Yeah.
But that after they brought him out and he was like, this is strange. This is some of the weirdest stuff I've seen. like very quickly the Air Force sent the guy out and was like, nope, nothing's wrong here. Like, it's kind of like the story in North Dakota where that trained pilot was flying, chasing that thing, and then they very quickly it was just like, oh no, he's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, okay. In all actuality, if the government came out today, and they've been recently just kind of saying with footage that's come out, they're like, we don't know. If they came out and said, we have no idea what's causing this, but it's causing it, people are missing, animals are missing, there might be something out there. Do you not think that there will be, in somewhat shape or form, mass hysteria?
It's like last night, Man of Steel was on AFX
Here
or
we
something.
go.
And they told Clark, you are the answer. Or what was it? We always ask if we are alone in the universe, you are the answer.
Yeah. So also, kind of going off of that,
proud.
if you have paranoia, so the Chinese just launched their type of rocket with the space station, and it broke off.
Yeah.
And it's going to land in the next 2 weeks, and they say the potential area that it could land is literally everywhere that's not the Antarctics.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, within the countries, there's a lot of water, so it could totally hit the ocean. But I asked Alex the other day, I was like, could you imagine if they came out and said, hey, in 2 weeks, Dallas is going to get hit, evacuate. In 2 weeks, it's going to get hit. You don't think they're going to panic? You don't think the surrounding area would panic?
Some people would be like, it's not going to hit.
It's not real, it's a
hoax."
conspiracy. And then bam. Like, infrastructure down. You can't avoid it. What are we going to do? Hit it with a laser in space while it's
Where are we
falling?
going to go?
Exactly. Where would they go?
Far Cry 2.0. We got
FEMA would go insane. All those people displaced from Dallas, all those businesses, everything, all the headquarters.
You know, I've always imagined, like, whenever I play these apocalyptic games, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I would totally just put on some leggings, boots, and just a tank top, and, you know,
That's your outfit for the next 7 years.
bring a jacket for when it gets chilly, and I have, like, a Patagonia backpack, so, you know, I could totally store things in. But I always think about it, I was like, oh my gosh, the four of us. Didn't we talk about it? Like, where would we meet? Where would we...
I'm going back home.
I
My dad would
clearly
take
was
care
left
of me.
out of this conversation. I was left out of this conversation, so...
I think it was
You guys have
between
a
Alex
survival
and I,
plan.
like, where would the four of us meet? And I was like, oh shit.
We gotta get up to Pennsylvania.
I think-
My dad would take care
I
of us.
think we would have to meet...
I don't know, because then you think about, like, unfortunately, some people legitimately could not survive. Like,
There was a
I
series. There was an
like,
NBC
we
series.
take her as far as we could.
I think we... I don't want to say.
Yeah.
There was an NBC series a couple years ago that came out as a TV series. It was the power grid went down. It wasn't like a major cosmic event. It was the power grid went down, so you had no access to anything. And how much that would mess up. You have no access to cell phones, no access to phones in general, no internet, no nothing. Are we passing around this
want a
Mexican Coke?
I was thinking, though, I don't think it would be fair for us to meet here because Josh and I, we live relatively close to each other.
We'd have to come out to
I
you
feel
guys.
like we'd have to meet maybe near where the Target is, near Neiman Forest.
So guys, if you're in the DFW area, meet us at the Target with the name and Marcus. We'll form a group, and we will kick down these 5-year-old zombies
We'll be signing
together.
autographs until 3 o'clock.
And then we'll be boarding up that Target.
Yeah, live in the Target for a while.
If you have the premium tickets, you can stay with us.
The VIP backstage that were $5,000 each.
Maybe we could make our next Tales Less Traveled.
I hate that
In
guy's
Target.
voice so bad.
Chills.
Yeah. I'm sure he's great, but...
I like Nukes better.
Number
Newt?
15,
Newt-
the
Newt's
Slide
not fun.
Rock
we haven't
Bolter.
seen.
We have not.
Okay, so our next story is the Slide Rock Bolter, which is our cryptid for this episode. No sea
said-
monsters, I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you know what?
That's to be
I know.
expected.
I know, I really wanted to.
Not much.
But
Yeah.
I chose this because it is a very, very strange cryptid.
Sea urchin.
And maybe next time, we still got to spin the wheel, but maybe next time we can get another one. So, the Slide Rock Bolter, it lives in the mountains of Colorado. It is a huge whale-like creature with a huge mouth and rows of sharp teeth and a hooked tail.
Narwhal?
It is as big as a blue whale. It is found in the steep mountains, and it waits on the side of a mountain. And as soon as it sees its potential prey, it'll unlatch itself and slide down the mountain at high speed, attempting to eat it whole.
Ew.
It's a land whale?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
In the process, it would knock loose trees and other rocks to make a smooth trail to make its next attacks even faster. After it's at the bottom, it uses its hook tail to slowly pull itself back to the top and waits for its prey again. Here's depictions of it.
Whoa. That's big mouth.
You see this little guy on a horse like, oh shit!
But look at that big... He's got teeth. He's got some teeth on him.
God.
As tall as a
that
mountain.
is one from Nightmares.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is like, obviously, there's no whale living in the mountains. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure like
Logic.
back in like 1800s or whatever, there was rock slides that would clear like a smooth path on the mountain. So you just see like this long, smooth trail, and you just be like, oh, it's a whale that slid down the mountain.
It's
I
a
think-
rock slide with a wave.
I love the creativity though.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
love it.
A+ for effort.
Yep. So that's the short little cryptid for this.
Oh,
episode.
wonderful! It's like a little mod.
Yeah,
mod
I don't really
daughter.
I don't have any stories of it. It's just
One of those things.
Yeah.
The pictures are cute.
But Cheesemo, you got a story for us?
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Take the last
Drink
swig
your
of your...
orange juice.
So, when I say that this story is going to be short, it probably is.
That's fine.
That's what Brooke and I said.
Let me just bring it up real quick. What is it?
I just want to point out too that we
Lager.
accidentally have some Belgian style ale from Fort Collins, Colorado, unbeknownst to us.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a shout out to a
Trapel,
cousin of mine. You know who you are. She went ahead and told me I could have the last of her... What was that? Triple
Belgian.
New Belgian?
Oh, was this part of hers?
Yeah.
Oh,
That-
Well,
cool.
and you
Brought
know
over.
what? She's the artist on this podcast. so
Honestly,
anytime
she-
wants to come on, she's
She
welcome.
is the backbone of our artwork.
She is. I mean, without her, I don't know.
Basically, the entirety of the artwork.
Yeah.
So, shout
But
out
hold
to
on.
you.
We came up with the idea.
Oh.
She brought it to life.
She had a vision.
She... Yeah, so...
So-
But really, though, I mean, her talent
Oh, yeah.
brought all of this to life.
Absolutely. So, thank you for that, and thank you for letting us have this triple New Belgian ale. This is really nice. Fitting for Colorado.
Passing her around like a...
Now that I've given
bottle of
Cheesemo
whiskey.
some time to find her story, do you have your story?
I do.
Oh, wow.
So this is oh god. So this is short, maybe 5 minutes. So this story takes place in Denver, Colorado,
Very nice.
and it revolves around a woman named Molly Brown. First name Margaret, but they called her Molly.
Why do I feel like Molly Brown was a really popular name?
Molly, or just Molly in general?
Molly Brown. Like, I think I've heard that somewhere. Like
Molly Brown?
times.
Yeah.
So maybe you've heard of the story.
It's Molly.
Okay.
Okay.
Like the drug.
So, a little background on Molly. She loved to travel, and she married a man named James Joseph Brown, they were both very avid, how do you say it?
Philanthropist?
Yes.
Okay.
English was my second language.
Philanthropist.
I was going to say philanthropist. English was my second language. So they lived in high society. They, loved being with people, talking, whatever. There was a time when Molly Brown was actually on vacation, and she had received word that a family member was ill. So she booked the first passage she could get back to Colorado. And can you guess what that ship was?
The Titanic.
Spirit.
The Titanic.
No!
Wow.
She booked a passage on Titanic,
Oh, damn.
and fortunately enough, she survived
Wow.
Titanic.
Okay.
You know what? Because they let the rich people go
She
first.
was more like Rose and less like Jack.
Yeah, she was because high society. She probably So she was fortunate enough to survive the tragic event of Titanic, and for the remainder of her life, she took any opportunity she could to tell to her high society friends how she rode the the lifeboat to safety for 72 hours, apparently.
Uh-huh.
while her
Sounds like Molly was milking this.
I was gonna say this. While her tales may have been embellished, this earned her the nickname the Unsinkable Molly Brown. I know. So here's where the event takes place.
I'm sorry to interject.
No, you're fine.
I think Molly Brown is actually a character in Titanic that they mention, like a casual thing.
Is it really?
I'm almost positive.
You would
almost positive.
You would know this because Alex watches Titanic like maybe twice a year.
Oh my gosh, at least once.
Maybe twice a week.
Yeah, at this point.
I love that movie. But no, I think that's where it is. Molly Brown.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyways,
continue. Okay, hold on. Fun fact. Kathy Bates portrays the wealthy socialite from Emo, Missouri, who not only helped survive the Titanic sinking, but helped board other lifeboats, eventually becoming known as the Unsinkable Molly Brown.
Is it really?
Kathy Bates.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's supposed to be her?
Apparently so.
Who also would have been Reba.
Wow.
Yes,
Reba would have been Molly Brown.
That's crazy.
Okay, well there you go. She's in the movie Titanic.
Wow. I didn't know Kathy Bates was on our podcast.
Margaret Brown.
Molly Brown.
All right.
So
And she didn't even have to break any ankles.
Oh, that's misery, Josh. You're way ahead of yourself. That's a good movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
Stephen
I would
King's
say.
The Misery.
So anyway, so this is where the event takes place. So she survives Titanic. She goes back to town. Whatever. The house that was infamously built in 1889. Molly and her husband bought it in 1894 for $30,000. So I don't know what $30,000 would be at that time, but I'm sure it would be quite a bit. They lived in it, whatever, and then they lived in it until Molly died in 1932. And when she died, her home was split into 12 separate apartments.
Oh, wow.
In 1958, the house was run as a gentleman's boarding house before being leased to the city as a home for wayward girls. And then in 1970, the house was purchased and restored to its former Victorian glory and is now being run as a museum. The one thing that I found interesting about this was that we had talked about it in previous episodes. They mentioned that this house had extreme altercations, and this was even way after Molly had passed, her husband had passed, and then her daughter, Catherine Ellen, had passed. So, and
Kathy.
little Kathy Ellen, and we've talked about it where if there are spirits living in that house, and then the house is being renovated. Yep, there she is.
Yeah,
from Hannibal, Missouri.
She's showing
Wikipedia of Molly Brown.
Look at that.
So yeah, if there are spirits living in the house and then the house is being renovated, altercated, whatever, it upsets all that. So I thought that was really interesting because that's what, when I researched the story, it just said extreme altercations. And I was like, there's something there.
Wow.
But while people were living in that house, so during, the 50s and then as it was being like a home for girls and then the gentleman's boarding house, whatever, they would always, I guess, experience weird things. So for one, they would say that they would smell like a burning pipe or something just at odd times, and it is said to believe that the husband of Molly Brown would smoke a lot, and then they would often see Molly herself roaming around the hallways in like a Victorian dress and stuff.
That's crazy.
So there's a lot going on there. Several entities are said to haunt the house, including Molly herself, the husband, and then their daughter, Catherine. And it is said that Catherine, the daughter, haunts the place the most. She is believed to have died of a disease.
Ouch.
And it is said that the room of what used to be the daughters, the blinds, will open on their own and whatnot. There's other spirits, supposedly of like the gentleman's club. But it is now, in 1970, the house was purchased by the city and is now being run as a museum. But then a lot of people who visit that museum will get a dark...
Ooh, presence.
They'll feel something. Almost all of them will feel something. So
that's beautiful.
That's really it. Molly Brown.
Creepy and
I want to.
beautiful.
Can I quick interject? I want to tie this in. You mentioned Leadville earlier.
Yeah.
She met her husband in Leadville. Crazy coincidence.
Oh.
And then she also was quoted as saying, "I wanted a rich man, but I loved Jim Brown. I thought about how I wanted comfort from my father and how I determined to stay single until a man presented himself who could give the tired old man the things I longed for. Jim was as poor as we were and had no better chance in life. I struggled hard with myself in those days. I loved Jim, but he was poor. Finally, I decided I'd rather be off with a poor man whom I loved than with a wealthy one whose money had attracted me. So I married Jim Brown. Jim Brown became then successful in mining. But after 23 years of marriage, they got a divorce. She received $700 in a monthly allowance, equivalent to $19,919 a month in 2019. Oh, get that money, girl!
Hold on. The name Jim Brown sounds familiar.
There's a lot of Jim Browns too.
I think we talked about him in the Texas episode or something.
Jim Brown.
Well, Jim Brown sounds familiar. I feel like we've
James
talked
Joseph
about.
Brown.
Well, you know what though? That's kind of cool. At least it does tie together, and Molly Brown. So the next time the audience watches Titanic, keep a lookout for Molly Brown.
And I will say, when I was doing my research, every list of the most haunted places in Colorado always had the Brown House.
Oh,
Molly
cool.
Brown House. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. That's really cool. I really enjoyed that story.
There was another one that I almost would have done, but at the time it was the oh my gosh. Let me pull it up. I had it.
Wow.
Why are you silent?
Let's take a pregnant pause.
Pregnant pause. Here it is. It's also in Denver, Colorado. The Brown Palace Hotel. Oh. Have you seen that in your research?
Oh, and I saw that in my list too, but I didn't cover it.
Honestly, I got another vibe of the Cecil Hotel where it was like a luxurious hotel, hosted, the highest society, and then eventually it just went downhill. People started seeing weird things, and then there was an underground tunnel of the hotel to a street that had gambling dens and brothels and stuff.
Cool. Huh.
And then just weird deaths and then weird entities. So that was something that I almost would have done, but time was short.
We always could do a part 2 in the future.
I think for part 2 Colorado, that will be my next story.
Oh my god, that bird has a lizard in its mouth.
Where?
On the fence.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, you badass.
Good for her.
Damn, you see that tail? Sheesh. Sheesh. Go ahead, Alex. Sheesh. Go ahead.
What is that?
Is it
Sheesh. Go ahead. Sheesh.
Is it TikTok?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Hold on. Brooke, raise your right arm. Oh, she's having a stroke. Help! Help!
It's the face drooping.
You were right, by the way.
somewhere.
There was an extra Belgium in there. There was one.
You can have it.
Let's crack it open. Okay. So I got 2 more stories. This first of the 2 is the Hatchet Lady of Red Rocks. We had the Lady of White Rock Lake. Now we have the Hatchet Lady of Red Rocks.
Didn't we have another
travels
lady?
a lot.
We had another lady in North Dakota, didn't we?
We did.
We had another lady somewhere in our story.
I could pull up my notes, but
You know
Well,
what?
that's all. We
that
know.
was 2 weeks ago.
We've traveled to so many states now that
There's a lot of ladies.
that's blurring.
I
A
feel-
lot of sea monsters and ladies.
Sea urchins.
All right, so like most urban legends, this has multiple versions,
Okay.
and I decided to go with this one.
Okay.
What were you gonna say,
So-
Alex? I'm so sorry.
a lot of sea urchins.
Urchins, sea urchins.
This is a ghost.
Urchin?
Sea urchins.
Urchins.
Sea urchins.
Also, I'm sorry, before you get in your story, I feel like it's getting to a point where our most avid fans probably remember all our stories very well, and we're over here like, oh yeah, didn't we
What
say it
did
in
we do?
that one story, that one state?
Meanwhile, I listened to this once while editing. And
Yeah. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
So this has a lot of versions of the story, but this is the one I chose. So there was a poor couple living just outside Morrison, Colorado. The man was physically ill and the woman was mentally ill.
Yay!
God.
Perfect.
Eventually the man died and the wife lost the house. She ended up living out of a cave in Dakota Ridge. Over time, the woman lost more and more of her sanity. She would leave her cave with a hatchet to collect firewood, and to anyone in her path, she would begin to snarl and scream, waving her hatchet, but always retreating before police arrived.
You know, I was snarled at when I worked at the grocery store.
Yeah, you were.
That area.
The woman had this
You
hatchet.
told us.
No, she snarled at me, and it was very terrifying. I was only 14.
You know, you did mention this when we were talking about our first episode, the Texas episode,
When I got snarled at?
because there's a ghost in that one Texas mental place.
Yeah.
Oh, Ariana
it was
and Ken
it was like a snarling ghost, and you mentioned that. I remember that.
Did I tell you the story of how I was burped almost in my face at the grocery
Was
store?
it Alex?
No, it was a random stranger.
Thank you.
Mind you, COVID times. I was walking past this young woman. This young woman had her mask down and burped as if she was in her own house.
Do you guys see that?
And I'm like, I almost feel disrespected.
I
It's
think
disgusting.
there's some Republican senator. There's a video of him, and he's like about to sneeze, and he pulls down his mask and sneezes in his hand, and he puts it.
Oh.
I felt gross because yesterday I had to sneeze, but I don't know where we were, but we were Walmart, and I didn't want to pull down my mask, so I was like,
So you
it's coming,
sneezed into the
it's
mask.
coming.
Sneezed in your
I
mouth?
did, and I was like,
Ew.
It's better.
I like pops for a moment.
That's so gross.
So anyway, she'd snarl and scream at the people waving her hatchet, and she'd run away before police came. She mainly went out after dark, and people going out at night were told to watch out for her. The woman eventually died, but she never stopped roaming the area. So the other version of this story is apparently she was a mother who was very protective of her
children,
daughters,
yeah.
and she would chase off the male suitors by putting her coat over her head and chasing them with a hatchet.
Oh, Mom, I'm just trying to get laid, Mom.
La Llorona,
So-
but adding a hatchet.
Regardless of what version, so if anything, death freed her of her restrictions she faced in her old age. Anyone who comes across her, whether it's a hiker or a teenage couple looking to fool around, have been chased by her.
Naturally.
She's been known to move at incredible speeds, howling and waving her hatchet. She looks like a dirty and bony old woman in rags with yellow, rotting teeth.
Jesus.
And sometimes she's riding a horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is the Hatchet Lady of the Red Rocks.
She sounds lovely.
She does.
Amazing.
I'd like to meet her sometime.
Like, her cave is probably cozy.
She probably has some nice little trinkets there.
Yeah. Like, made out of bones like your friend.
And essential oils all around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, essential oils.
So you guys ready for the last story of today?
Oh, wow.
So,
The
Or-
climax.
We gotta do it. The Stanley Hotel.
Oh,
Also,
The
if you've seen
Shining.
The Shining, the
Oh,
Overlook Hotel
yes.
is based on the Stanley Hotel.
I was gonna say it sounds familiar. Now I know why.
All right, so a little backstory. Freeland Oscar Stanley was an American inventor and entrepreneur, most well known for his photographic plates and the Stanley steamer car in 1902.
Oh my god, the Stanley Steamer Carpet Company. That's
That is
wonderful.
a different.
No, that's great.
Okay.
Stanley's
So his Stanley steamer car in 1902 could reach speeds of 127 miles per hour, and it was the fastest vehicle in the world at the time.
Oh, damn. The Stanley Steamster was a speedster? Shit. Sheesh. Sheesh.
Turning it up.
La
Lechuza.
juicy.
In 1903, at the age of 54, Stanley was diagnosed with tuberculosis and given 6 months to live.
Oh, sheesh.
He was told that he would be dead by the end of summer and that he should look for dry, fresh mountain air. Stanley,
That ain't right.
Arthur Morgan.
Stanley and his wife left Massachusetts and headed to the Rocky Mountains. The doctor was to come in September to bring back Stanley's body, but not only was Stanley still alive, he would completely recover over the next 4 years and live until 1940, dying at the age of 91.
That's really
cre-
nice.
He
He lived
created
long.
the Stanley Steamer because of that nice fresh air he needed to get the allergens out.
True. That's true.
Damn.
So, Stanley would fall in love with Colorado and go on to build the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park and a hydroelectric plant to make the hotel completely electric. His goal was to turn Estes Park into a resort, and every summer guests would arrive by train, and right before winter the hotel would close. The hotel would be huge, including multiple lodges, a carriage house, a concert hall, and a smaller bed and breakfast called Stanley Manor.
Wait a second. Did Teddy go here?
He might have.
Teddy.
Let's ask him.
Oh god, here we go.
So,
You're leaving her alone to do the chant?
I was just enjoying it. I felt like I needed to go get the little pieces of biscuit for his bread and a little cup of wine for his blood.
Teddy says that he may have heard of this hotel.
Yeah? My man Teddy.
He says greetings.
Stephen King visited the hotel in the 1970s. The next day, the resort would be closing for the winter, so King and his wife were the only guests on property. They'd have dinner alone. King would go to the bar and be the only guest. The emptiness of the place inspired King to write The Shining.
Is this also... I'm so sorry. Is this also a, like a placeholder for Misery?
No.
Because Misery, he was going to a resort to write a Misery. The author was going to go write Misery at a resort in the winter, and that's when he fell off the road.
I don't know, because I don't know much about the history of Misery.
Have you seen the movie? Read the book?
I've seen the movie, I have not read the book.
Chef's kiss?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is the true history. Let's get into the ghosts.
Okay, let's do it.
So room 217 is the room King stayed in, and if you've ever read or seen The Shining, you know its importance. While the real room doesn't include a naked ghost lady in the bathtub, there is tragedy. In 1911, the head housekeeper, Miss Wilson, was lighting lanterns in the room when it exploded and sent her flying through the floor into the dining room below.
Would she use gunpowder?
There was a gas leak in the room when she was lighting the lanterns.
Oh no.
She survived.
Oh damn.
She only broke both of her ankles.
Good for her.
Only.
But 40 years later, she went into the room to clean, had a heart attack, and died.
Well, that's a sad turn of events.
Same
isn't it?
room. Same room
And
she had
she's
her
still
accident.
working 44 years later.
Yeah.
Damn.
They should have given her some, like, time
Yeah.
off.
Her spirit is said to be attached to the room. Guests have had their bags unpacked for them, and most
What?
notably, she does not seem to tolerate any unmarried couple sharing a bed.
Oh, yeah.
She got some bitter.
Guests have reported feeling a cold force push them apart, and when they wake up, the man's luggage will be packed up by the door.
Wow.
Oh.
It should also be noted that while filming Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey stayed in room 217, and within 3 hours he checked out, and he never spoke to this day about why.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like Jim Carrey.
I do too. He's
Yeah.
been through some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like staying in room 217.
No, we're talking about it. Yeah.
Perhaps the underground caves are the reason why so much energy is captured here. The caves stretch underneath the hotel and have a large concentration of limestone and quartz, which some people say that can capture
The
energy.
energy.
Yeah,
Crystals.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, employees use these tunnels to get around the hotel. While down there, they have reported smelling pastries with no source, and occasionally a gray cat with bright green eyes that seemingly comes out of nowhere, even though there's no cat in the hotel.
Nash. Yeah.
Other spirits on the property include Paul, who haunts the concert hall. In life, Paul enforced the 11 p.m. curfew, and today people in the concert hall after hours have heard a disembodied voice telling them to get out.
Indubitably.
The fourth floor has reports of children's laughter, running feet, and slamming doors. This floor was an attic at one point and lodging for female employees and their children and nannies. Also on the fourth floor is room 428. There's a ghostly cowboy who appears to female guests at the side of their bed to give them a kiss.
Oh, hey, mama.
Summer wine.
Mama, let's go.
That's
Mama.
the thing about young girls. High school girls, they keep getting younger.
Mama,
They
give me.
keep getting older.
I'll stay the same age.
Johnny, sit back down, Johnny Cash.
That's our new governor, Matthew McConaughey. Hey.
On the property, there's a pet cemetery, and two of the animals buried seem to have not left the hotel.
This sounds like he got a lot of inspiration from this place.
Comanche, a white cat, and Cassie, a golden retriever, have been seen running around, sometimes even barking or meowing, in the hotel. Finally, in a museum...
Wasn't Cassie's one of the names in Pet Sematary?
I have not read Pet Cemetery.
I read it.
Finally, in the
was it
museum on property that used to be an ice house... I have one sentence left.
Okay, go, you got it. You can do it.
They used to be an ice house. The specter of a little boy named Billy has shown up as blurry shadows in pictures taken.
That is, so, Billy could have been a female.
Billy Crystal.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish O'Connell.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Okay.
That's how we end
So
it.
yeah, that's it. That's it for the Stanley Hotel.
You should just send it on Billie Eilish.
Where is the Stanley Hotel again?
Oh my god, Colorado.
No, I know.
Estes Park.
Yeah,
Estes Park?
Estes.
I wonder how far we are from. How far are we from Estes
Like-
Park?
How far
Hour
we
and a
went
half.
from?
Maybe we should go.
An hour?
Yeah.
We're gonna be
They
about
give
3 hours
daily
away.
tours in the Stanley Hotel.
How much?
And then
We're
look.
3 hours away.
Okay, so
You want to get into that?
Wow. Keystone, where are we?
I just looked it up, baby.
3 hours?
3 hours. Yeah.
Got it. Well, I just wanted to say it for myself.
How do I, check my
I really want to go to the Stanley Hotel.
Hey, but you know where we're closer to? Wait,
Look.
hold on.
Well, that was
Let's
really
wrap
interesting, Josh. Thank you so much for sharing the stories, guys. Thank you for
Let's-
sharing your stories.
Someone
Yes,
like to
thank
spin
you.
the wheel?
Just some last words. I love Colorado. Having a grand time here. There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful
Live animals.
and just views, memories, whatever. And this is definitely another bonding moment for all of us to be in
Nice little vacation for all
a
of
nice little vacation, another state.
Do you want to do our plugs real quick?
Yeah, just real quick.
Gotta plug it in.
Please, if you would like, follow us on Instagram at Tells Us Traveled. You can follow us on Twitter at TL Traveled, and you can also email us a nice little message at tellsustraveled@gmail.com.
Also our YouTube.
And our YouTube under Tells Us Traveled.
All right, who wants to spin it?
YouTube.
Let's spin it, Alex.
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, give it to
I
us. Give it
always
to us.
spin
You can either
Yeah.
give it a little thing or it'll
And
pop
if
up.
it
we'll
and
do
say
it together.
spin.
If it gets
Okay,
a
what
state
are we doing?
we've
What are we
already
doing?
done,
Put your finger on it. Okay.
just repeat.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's a state we've already done,
One,
just
two,
do it
hold
again.
on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you know what?
Guys, just give it a little flick.
I
Guys.
did.
Or hit spin.
Where?
Or hit resume. Now hit spin it.
Spin it together.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
What we got?
We are going to.
Oh my God, we were so.
I know. We're going to Vermont. We almost went to Utah.
We
Oh
did.
god.
We're going to Vermont. I heard Vermont
Vermont.
is very beautiful.
Vermont.
Vermont.
Wonderful.
All right, guys.
Thank
we'll
you
see
guys.
You 2 weeks in
Hope you
Vermont.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wait, no,
This is
We're
us.
fading out.
Signing off.
No, but all right. Fine. Bye.
What?
What about me?
Go, Brooke.
No, I like your voice. You have a nice crisp.
Mint free.
I'm trying to talk, guys. It's my turn. It's recording.
What do you want to say?
It's gonna be May.
We all have pretty damn sexy voices.
It's gonna be May.